Okay, so I really should be working on stuff, but instead I'm going to show you my method of using old lenses on a Nikon D40 body. Um, it's a not quite basic point and shoot, so here we go. Okay, so here I have my Nikon D40, and on it I have an old Nikkor 50mm fixed lens. It's got a apertures from 16 to f1.4, and it's a nice lens. I like shooting with it, but the thing that makes it challenging or a little challenging using the Nikon D40x body is that you can't actually meter through the lens, so you can't really do anything automatic with it. So you have to make some adjustments to your shooting style, and so this is how I do it. First of all, I love using this lens, but because it's not automated, you might want to not use it for situations where you are looking for there's going to be spontaneous things going on. You need to catch something at a moment's notice. You can be pretty decent with this, but usually it takes a little bit of trial and error. So first thing I do when I'm shooting in this mode is, with this lens, is I switch it to manual mode. Also, when I'm shooting, I usually like to shoot with the lowest ISO possible. So for this camera, it's 200. So I usually do shoot at 200. So to change that, make sure you kind of have a nice quality ISO. You press the info button, press it again, and then you'll sort of see where the ISO is. You can hit enter, and you can adjust it there. Usually I'm at 200. Sometimes if I'm in a museum, I know it's going to be a more lower light situation, I'll go up to 400, occasionally 800 depending how I'm feeling, but usually 200 or 400 is where I like to shoot. So the way I shoot with this type of lens, I like to think of it as I am in, it's like manual aperture priority mode. So what I mean by that is, the way I like to do it is, just based on the film, the lighting, what's going on, is I decide first what aperture I want to shoot with. And I do this, to do this you use the ring on the front, and where the dot is, where that lines up, that shows you where the what aperture you're using. So like this, you'd be at 1.4, here you'd be 5.6, over here you'd be all the way up to 16, and all the way back down. So that's how you select your aperture. So that's usually what I do first. So now I have the ISO set, and I'm off to do my photo shoot. I'm looking around, and I see a little bit of a scene here. We've got a book, a coffee mug, a ukulele, a computer. And so I'm looking around thinking, I want this to be a little bit of an artistic style shot. I want to use as much natural light as possible. So I want to have a really shallow depth of field and a wide open lens. So I'm gonna pick aperture of 1.4, f-stop 1.4. So I'm gonna get ready to go with that. So I have that. I have the aperture. So I'm in aperture priority mode internally. So now I'm gonna start shooting. Okay, so I look around. It's pretty bright in here. F1.8, first thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to guess, see what the, I figure with some experience with 1.8, I'm going to guess the appropriate metering would be a shutter speed of about 80, 1/80th of a second. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start with, so let me see if I can show this here. So what I'll do, I'm in manual mode, I click to know I'm shooting, and then I'm going to spin the wheel, bring down my shutter speed, probably about 1/80th there. Then I go compose my picture and take a shot. So not a bad guess. That's what the lighting looks like there. And if I look at the, hold on a sec. If I go press the down button, and that's the graph of the histogram of what's going on. So I actually think I did a pretty good job guessing, but you know, maybe I'm in a dark mood, so I thought maybe I'm a little too bright there. So then I'll change. So I think it needs a longer shutter speed. So I'll go. I mean a shorter shutter speed to make it a little darker. So I'll go change that here. Again, it's the button there. I'm at 80. So then I'll swing up. Sorry, doing this one-handed. Swing up here. So I'll spin the wheel, change it to 125. Okay, so this one pretty good, a little darker. Oh, disappeared again. Gotta figure out a better way to do this. A little darker, but I like it. Take a look at the histogram. Yeah, that matches kind of what I think, more of the dark tones. But actually, you know, I kind of want to blow this up now, make it a little brighter, a little more vibrant. So this time I'm going to reset my shutter speed here. Get a longer exposure, go down to like 40 and see how it turns out. You expect a much brighter picture back there. So, you know, kind of what I do is basically did some exposure bracketing there. And that's pretty much it. That's my method for using this type of lens on a DX camera. So to recap, you first need to make sure that you are shooting in manual mode. That's first. Then you decide on your picture and use the ring flash up, or the ring up here, to set the aperture you want. And then, because you can't meter, you just kind of take a guess at what the shutter speed should be. Look at the exposure on the back on your viewfinder, and then adjust accordingly. Sometimes you're right on the first time. Sometimes it takes a lot of adjustment to get everything right. Yeah, so that's why I said earlier, you know, if you're going to a place where you think you need to catch a spontaneous event, it's going to be more, you know, this isn't the type of lens and the type of shooting that would probably work best for that. But if you have some time, want to take some time to really compose your shot, mess around with exposure, get a chance to use a fixed lens, this is the way I go about doing it. Hope you learned something, and thanks a lot.